Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15th, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. His parents loved him very much. Martin Luther King Jr. had the same name as his father, except for one thing. His father was called Martin Luther King Sr. Martin was called Martin Luther King Jr. Since Martin Luther King had the same name as his father, we call him Martin Luther King Jr. So we know that they are two different people. He is the younger Martin Luther King, so he is Junior. Maybe you have some people in your family that have the same name as their dad, and they are Junior. Martin went to elementary school, high school, and college in Atlanta. He was a good student. Later, he went to divinity school in Pennsylvania. Martin became a pastor, just like his dad, at the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. They were both called Reverend, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and the Reverend Martin Luther King Sr. Martin's job as a minister was to help people in need. He visited sick people in the hospital, and he liked to make them feel better. Martin Luther King Jr. was very kind and nice and helped people who were sick feel better by visiting them, friends. When someone does something nice for somebody else, we call it an act of kindness. Can you say kindness? Good job. In this picture, Martin Luther King Jr. is being kind. He's doing something nice by visiting this woman who is sick. I see friends being kind when we come on to small groups. When you come onto small group, you say hi and how are you? That is being kind. And a lot of my friends say, where are teachers? And some of my friends say that they miss each other. That is being kind by telling your friend nice things. Can you think of a way that you're kind at home? Pause here and tell us. Now let's keep reading to find out what other acts of kindness Martin Luther King Jr. did for people. He asked people not to fight with each other. He said that there are more peaceful ways to solve their problems. We see here that Martin Luther King Jr. is helping these two boys solve a problem and get along. He wants them to solve their problem peacefully. That means he wants them to be nice and talk calmly to each other in order to fix their problems. These boys shake each other's hands because they agreed to get along and be peaceful and nice to each other. Martin Luther King Jr. helped a lot of people solve their problems peacefully, even adults and grown-ups. My friends, who helps you solve problems peacefully and make sure everyone is nice to each other at your house or in your family? Pause here and tell us. Once there was a law in some places that said that black children and white children could not go to the same school together. Martin Luther King Jr. and other people, including very brave children, had this law changed too. Now, black children and white children can go to school together. Once there was a time where Miss Williams could not teach all of my friends. But now we can be in the same classroom with friends who look different than us. Martin Luther King had a special talent for leadership. When he spoke, people listened. Poor people, rich people, white people, black people, and people from all around the world listened when Martin Luther King spoke. Many helped him work, march, sing, and pray for justice. All of these people wanted justice. That means when things are fair. So people wanted everything to be fair for all people. They were marching together with Martin Luther King Jr., and they're marching for justice. Can you say justice? In the summer of 1963, Martin Luther King gave the most famous speech of his life. He gave it outdoors to 250,000 people. That's a lot of people, friends. And they came to Washington, D.C. to ask the president for jobs and freedom for black people. In his speech, Martin Luther King said that he had a dream. His dream was that people everywhere would learn to live together without being mean to one another. My friends, this picture shows Martin Luther King Jr. giving his speech to many people. He's talking to everyone, and here are all the people who came to see him. Martin Luther King Jr. is talking to everyone. Some of them are holding signs, and the sign says that they want everyone to be nice to each other and be treated fairly. Martin Luther King Jr. told all of these people about how he hoped people everywhere would learn to live together without being mean to one another. Martin Luther King wanted people to be able to go places together, share food together, and love one another in peace, because he worked so hard for freedom and helped so many people. We honor him every year on his special day. We call this day Martin Luther King Day, and we say to him, "Happy birthday, Martin Luther King." We celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday because of all of his acts of kindness. My friends, can you say kind? He did many kind things for people, like solving problems and helping make things fair and telling people to be nice. The children in this picture are celebrating Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and they have a cake. Happy birthday, Martin Luther King Jr. My friends, can you say peaceful? Remember, in our book, we heard the word peaceful. Listen to the word peaceful, and I'm going to read a part of the book we heard before. He asked people not to fight with each other. He said that there were more peaceful ways to solve problems. Peaceful means nice and calm. These two boys were having trouble getting along and being friends. Martin Luther King Jr. helped them. He helped them become friends again by having them to talk to each other in peaceful voices and words. That means they use nice inside voices and use kind words to get along with each other instead of fighting or yelling. My friends, say peaceful. I can think of a time when friends had to solve a problem in a peaceful way at school or in their house. Maybe you and your brother or sister both have an iPad, and you have to think about who's going to take a turn first on your computer. Instead of getting mad or yelling or fighting, you can be peaceful and use a quiet voice and be kind and say, "You can use the iPad first and I will use it after you." Or sometimes friends need to be kind and peaceful by saying, "Please, Mommy," or "Thank you." This is how we can solve and fix our problems and be nice and kind in a peaceful way. Can you think of a time where you had to work out a problem and be peaceful? That means you had to be nice and calm. We also use the word peaceful to describe when something is quiet and makes us feel safe. When you have nap time, maybe at home or at daycare, the room is very peaceful because everyone is quiet and feels safe. When you get ready to go to sleep, you feel peaceful. It's not like recess or when we go outside, everybody runs around and we're loud, loud, loud. That's okay too, but it's important that we have some parts of our day where it is peaceful and quiet so we can rest. My friends say peaceful. Good job. That means we are nice and calm. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Good job, friends.